Hi, I'm Michael from ETS. Today on Inside the TOEFL Test, we're going inside the TOEFL iBT listening section, specifically the inference questions. Inference questions ask the listener to show an understanding of the meaning of something when it is not directly stated in the lecture or conversation. You can recognize inference questions because they use phrases like, "What are the implications of?" "What does the professor imply?" or "What can be inferred?" Let's look at a sample inference question from a literature lecture about detective novels, including a famous one called The Moonstone. First, here's an excerpt from the lecture.
In The Moonstone, as I said, Collins did much to establish the conventions of the detective genre. I'm not going to go into the plot at length, but, the basic setup is there's this diamond of great value, a country house. The diamond mysteriously disappears in the middle of the night. The local police are brought in an attempt to solve the crime, and they mess it up completely. And then the true hero of the book arrives. That's Sergeant Cuff. Now, Cuff, this extraordinarily important character, let me try to give you a sense of who Sergeant Cuff is by first describing the regular police. And this is the dynamic that you're going to see throughout the history of the detective novel, where you have the regular cops who are well-meaning but officious and bumblingly inept. And they are countered by a figure who's eccentric, analytical, brilliant, and able to solve the crime. So first, the regular police get called in to solve the mystery. In this case, Detective Superintendent Seagrave. When Superintendent Seagrave comes in, he orders his minions around. They bumble and they actually make a mess of the investigation, which you'll see repeated. You'll see this pattern repeated, particularly in the Sherlock Holmes stories of a few years later, where Inspector Lestrade, this well-meaning idiot, is always countered by Sherlock Holmes, who's a genius.
Now let's look at the question.
What does the professor imply when he says this?
Well, let me try to give you a sense of who Sergeant Cuff is by first describing the regular police.
We can see that this is an inference question because it uses the word imply and asks the listener to understand the meaning of something that is not directly stated by the professor. When the professor says this,
well, let me try to give you a sense of who Sergeant Cuff is by first describing the regular police.
He is hinting that there is a difference between the behavior of the regular police and that of Sergeant Cuff. This contrast is supported in other parts of the passage. For example, the speaker describes the regular police as bumblingly inept. He also says it is common in detective novels for them to be countered by a specific character, in this case, Sergeant Cuff, who is brilliant. Taken together, we can see that the best answer is A. Sergeant Cuff is unlike the regular police in The Moonstone. Here's a tip for improving your listening skills. Listen to recordings of two speakers with different viewpoints about the same topic. What words do the speakers use to support their ideas? Are the words mainly positive or negative? Then look at how they imply positive or negative ideas without saying them directly. There are lots of ways to improve your English skills. Whatever you do, keep practicing. And good luck on your TOEFL test.